It's 3 a.m. We're going to Taiwan.
We took a quick trip to Taiwan. You know, we thought it was worthwhile while we were staying here in Japan for a year. We went to Haneda Airport. It was a really early flight, 5:30, and train shut down at like midnight in Tokyo area. So, you know, a lot of people got there, I guess, right before midnight and just slept in the airport. We didn't want to do that because we had our little one with us and we didn't think he'd sleep too well. So we ended up parking. Parking's expensive, though. It's like $20 a day, 2,000 yen a day. Airport really wasn't busy at like 4 a.m., you know, so we got through security very quickly. My little one did good. There's vending machines with food, so we snacked on some food and bought some for the plane. Yeah, overall, good time. He did pretty good on the plane. We bought snacks, we bought cars, new cars that we just got at the dollar store so he'd be entertained. He did pretty good. And yeah, there's a good view of Mount Fuji, icon of Japan. And yeah, so we had a good time in Taiwan. Yeah, our little one, he's 15 months, I think. And yeah, he did pretty good. He did make up more trouble than he usually does. I think he knew he was solo, so we could handle more of him. So he made up for the other 3 kids that we left with our grandparents. Once we got to Taiwan, I went to the ATM, used my Charles Schwab card, which reimburses ATM fees. Also bought an Easy card, which is good for the metro system and public transportation in Taiwan. Really nice, and I felt like it was pretty cheap. We also hit up Family Mart and had food. But yeah, Charles Schwab is great because they reimburse all ATM fees. So I always use that. You get the exchange rate at the ATM and all the fees are reimbursed. So I love Charles Schwab for that. We went to our hotel that we were staying the next day, dropped off our bags because we didn't want to carry them for the next 2 days. So we dropped off our big bags and just had our little day bags with us. And then we walked from the airport towards Taipei 101. We went via Elephant Mountain. It's kind of a well-known hiking destination because you have great views of Taipei 101, the tallest tower in Taiwan. It was the tallest building like 10 years ago, and it has some pretty cool stuff. We did end up checking that out too. But the hike was really cool. It's like a tropical, jungly environment in Taiwan, which we're not so used to. So we were cool seeing all the fauna and stuff. And this is around mid-March, so still a lot of vibrant life, a lot of lizards, a lot of little animals. So we had a good time. Scooters are crazy in Taiwan. There's more scooters than cars, and they are wild. Oh, dogs everywhere too. Anyway, we got to Taipei 101, which is a pretty cool building. It's worth checking out. There's our Elephant Mountain hike we can see. So it's a cool hike and it leads you kind of right to Taipei 101, depending where you're coming from. Taipei 101's bottom floor has a nice food court, so we had food there. And then we checked out the mass damper. This used to be the biggest mass damper in the world. It's like a pendulum that swings with earthquakes and typhoons so that the building can stay standing. I probably didn't explain that right, but check it out for yourself. Good views. I felt like a little bit of smog in Taiwan when we were there. Or it might have just been fog. I'm really not sure. This is Don Park, which is an awesome park. So many birds, so many, and then so many fish and turtles. It's wild. I think it's worth checking out. They also had a lot of flowers and stuff. Pretty cool. Definitely would recommend it. Yeah, from there we took the subway to the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall, which is very close to the main Taipei train station where like the high-speed rail starts and things. Really cool place. I think it's like the biggest square I've ever been to, and we've been to a lot of places in Europe too with the big squares, but this was pretty fantastic. There's like a concert hall. I don't know what some of the other buildings were, but it's just cool kind of being there. There was this also cool koi pond bridge thing there. And then we took the high-speed rail from the main station to visit our friends in Hsinchu. There was some kind of festival when we got to the Hsinchu station. They got us all these really cool fruits, and then we had breakfast the next morning. Yeah, a lot of really cool fruit in Taiwan. They had a lot of markets, and I was just like, what is that? So I'm glad we got this sample, the wax apples. There's a lot of cool fruit. Here was an interesting food we got from a market. It's called a century egg, and we just look at this thing. It's like, looks almost jellied. It's an actual egg. The taste really wasn't bad. It looks absolutely terrible, but the taste really is not so bad.
Egg jello.
So after breakfast, we decided to head to a more touristy area. Yeah, so many cool parks, you know, all with these turtles and wildlife. Scooters everywhere. Yeah, we went to Niwan Old Street, which honestly you probably wouldn't go unless you had friends in the Hsinchu area because it's kind of like a 1 hour high-speed rail away from Taipei. So maybe you'd go. I mean, I definitely didn't see too many foreigners here, so that was kind of cool. And this is a day market. Oh yeah, there's a lady with parrots. I asked my friend. He said he never sees that. But at the playground, also at Dan Park, we saw a little girl carrying a parrot around on the playground. So I don't know. Maybe it is common. But yeah, I love sampling these foods at these markets. Usually night markets are a lot more popular in Taiwan, where they have all this food. Yeah, the scooters just go everywhere. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I got to try different things. This is cuttlefish balls, which I actually really ended up liking. Kaden also liked. I think he ate a couple of them. Food you ever had? And then next we tried stinky tofu, which is very well known as the thing to try in Taiwan, and it is quite stinky. When you were walking around, this was dragon fruit smoothie. It looked scary. I didn't think I was gonna like it, but I actually really liked it. It was very tasty, and just looks really scary, but it was good. Kaden approves as well. But yeah, stinky tofu kind of smells like the bottom of a outdoor garbage pan that hasn't been cleaned in a year or two. That's kind of the smell of stinky tofu, and you definitely smell it when you're walking through. But the taste is actually really good. Yeah, here are those 100-year century eggs again. And yeah, I just love sampling everything. Honestly, I'm going to say Japanese food I love and my wife loves so much better. But the Taiwanese food, maybe just because I grew up with it, but the Taiwanese food is very unique. It's not like Japan at all. Here they were making essential oils. They were boiling or steaming this wood and making essential oils. I've never seen that before. A lot of games to play in this market too, also in the night markets. This was cool. When your kids are bad, you put them into these Zorb balls and throw them in the lake. No, I don't know. I guess that was the game. This was cool. We did go-karting, and this was the most fun I've ever had go-karting. It was just faster, scarier than anything I've done in the States, so it was fun. I thought these were cool little rear racks you could sit in. We went to a restaurant, had beef noodle soup, which apparently is famous in Taiwan. We also thought it was okay. There's this weird spice that they use all throughout their cooking. I think they call it Taiwan 5 spice. And it just kind of flavors all their food. In the beginning, I really liked it, but it kind of got tiresome after a little bit, just because everything seemed to have it. I think I'm going to start craving it soon, having been away from Taiwan, but it was kind of overloading me for a while. Yeah, we're in a temple right outside the Raohe Market, which is one of 2 of the biggest night markets in Taipei area. Okay, so this is our hotel room in Taipei. It is the Amba Hotel. Give you cool free flip-flops. And what I was surprised about with these fruit, which is kind of cool. Kaden likes it too. With a hammer. Yeah, that was kind of nice. There's the bathroom. Clean and simple. And shower. Pretty simple as well. But yeah, nice little place. Yeah, let's see. The night market is like a really short walk from here, just 2 or 3 blocks. Pretty nice. And they brought us a crib. So the next day we had an early start. We wanted to go all the way to Taroko Gorge. But first we wanted to stop at Jiafun, which is supposed to be really scenic. Also another old market. We rented a car from Chai Lease Hertz rental car. So I guess they partner with Hertz, which is an American car company we were used to. It was about 6,000 Taiwanese dollars. I like these red light countdowns. They have them on all like the lights in Taiwan. They were very useful. But yeah, so about like $200 for 3 days to rent the car. And I had to get back to used to right-hand driving, like American style, because in Japan it's the opposite way, but Taiwan is the same as America. Anyway, had fun exploring Jiafun. It is nice. It was a little overcast when we went. There's the old tea house, which my wife really wanted to check out. There's a cool tunnel cave to get to it, which is kind of unique and hidden. But yeah, we were kind of exploring that, and I thought it was cool. The actual tea ceremony, she got the tea set. I think it was around $15 US. Yeah, it was a cool experience experiencing how the Taiwanese do their tea ceremony, and I think it was worth doing. I just got food for myself, and the food was pretty good. But yeah, so Jiafun was pretty cool to check out. All the markets, honestly, are pretty cool to check out. All the little stores. I love sampling all the foods, and they're all so unique. And the lookout's really cool. I wish it wasn't as cloudy, but it was still very pretty and lots to see and do. Those are fish slippers, kind of interesting. And these are like Taiwanese meatballs or sausage. I forget. I wanted to try, but I had such a long line, so I ended up getting. Oh yeah, this is weird. Spicy duck blood. Yeah, I think I ended up getting a big fried squid on a stick, which was good. Yeah, market got really busy towards the middle of the afternoon, so glad we got there earlier. This is actually our hotel where we stayed, and it actually is in Taroko Gorge, which is another like 3 hours south of Jiafun driving. That's why we rented the car to get here, because the train I think would have taken like 4 or 5 hours, and it would have been hard to get into the gorge. Would have taken another bus. Oh, that's it. Comes with breakfast in the morning, which I'm excited about. Breakfast buffet. So there's only 2 hotels in Taroko Gorge National Park. This was one of them, and this is the other, Silk's Palace, where we snuck off and watched their entertainment. What was kind of funny about this native dance was the piercing cry that the females would do during these parts of the dance. Yeah, our 1-year-old is pretty tuckered out after that 8:30 p.m. entertainment. Breakfast in Taiwan. French fries, noodles, cabbage, spinach. What else we got? All Sunri's favorite things. This is the start of the Bayang Trail. Might be closed due to a waterfall or rock slide. We'll see. Well, at least this part's open, and it is beautiful. One thing about Taroko Gorge that you should pay attention to is there's a lot of trails that get closed for rock slides. For instance, this one was closed. At least like the first half was open, but the next half was closed. Yeah, we saw this cool lizard on the way. But there's also a lot of permitted hikes that you have to get a permit for well in advance, maybe a month or 2 in advance of coming to Taroko Gorge. Like the Zulu Old Road Trail is very famous. We ended up going on this Wenshen hot spring trail. And the trail was actually really nice, kind of short, just like a 15-minute walk down. And you got to go through this cool tunnel. There's a cool suspension bridge. And then you got to the suspension bridge, and their like trail closed. It looked like they, once was a 5-person limit. There once was a like thriving trail, but then they like knocked it down. I don't know, maybe it was too dangerous or something. Quandaries. But it says, please go at your own risk. So we're thinking about it. Thinking about that hot spring. What do you think, baby? Should we do it? Well, that was a pretty steep trail. Definitely wouldn't recommend it when wet. And I think I'm not going to recommend the big. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know what this white stuff is, but it's lukewarm. But this one is hot over here. So I'm in the hot spring. It's actually really hot over here, like almost boiling. Not boiling. Ooh, yeah, hot. Pretty hot over there. And the water here from the gorge is cold. Kind of a cool mixture here. It's like mixing right there and really hot where it's coming down, and then cold. Kind of cool. So if you follow the rope trail, it's a little tricky. You can get to this cave hot spring, and yeah, it's coming out from right there. It's pretty hot, and enjoy this marble hot spring, which is kind of cool. Ooh, toasty. That's pretty cool though. I'm in a cave. Yeah, I can't really recommend doing this because I don't know if we're supposed to, and it was definitely quite risky and dangerous, especially if you had like rainy conditions. I definitely would not recommend it. But I think that being said, it was the highlight of our trip, just experiencing a natural hot spring by the river in a cave, kind of a unique experience. So we really liked it. Hot spring. Was it worth it?
Yeah.
Was it scary?
A little.
Can your mommy do it?
No.
So here was another suspension bridge. I don't know. We probably went on 6 or 7 different suspension bridges on our time in Taroko Gorge. A lot of them are pretty reachable. Like you just park and then like 10 feet in and then you have a suspension bridge. So if you're not really big into hiking, that's really not a problem. You can still access them. Honestly, I was a little disappointed with the hiking. I wish to do more strenuous hiking, but all those kind of required permits. So I wish I planned this a little bit better. Next time I will. The dog culture in Taiwan is very interesting. There's a lot of dog lovers, a lot of stray dogs. Even in this case, seeing a dog in the restaurant. This is the only time we saw one, but we saw like dogs on scooters with their owners. Yeah, interesting. When we were walking on this bridge, it was funny. This old lady came up to her little 1-year-old and gave him candy. Apparently that's a thing in Asia. Old ladies giving candy to little babies. Here is a temple we saw. Actually, one of the more magnificent temples we've seen. Definitely in Taiwan. But in our whole time, we ended up having to go to Hualien, which was like an hour away from our hotel, to get a PCR COVID test so we could re-enter Japan. Here we got a really yummy sweet apple, and then went back to hiking. Across the bridge, through the tunnels. See those tunnels? To that temple with that magical waterfall. And that's the top of the gorge. That's another temple up there. Pretty crazy. So this is some tunnels you use to get to the shrine. Even some waterfalls in the shrine, which is kind of cool. And then waterfalls at the shrine itself. Really beautiful place. Taroko itself is really amazing. Pretty spectacular. I think the most beautiful gorge we've ever been to. It's just so grand. It's so hard to capture too. That night, we went to Dangdaemu Night Market in Hualien, which again is like 30 minutes outside of the gates of Taroko National Park. Saw that alligator. Lots of wild things to do here. Lots of great foods to try. Yeah, just so unique. Really different. Like I thought Japan and Taiwan might be similar. They are completely different, especially in terms of their food. Oh, this was kind of cool. You could catch like turtles and fish, and it's like a fishing thing. Somebody sampled something that looked safe, a little chicken burger. Toilets in Taiwan. You can see right into them as people are peeing. Yeah, one thing I've noticed about Asian countries, especially with their bathrooms, is they're not as concerned with privacy near the bathrooms. Yeah, here's a cool little animal we saw on our ride back to our hotel. I don't know what it is, but maybe a lemur or something. And then that morning when we woke up, we saw these cool monkeys. We were warned by the hotel staff that there would be monkeys, so be careful. They said it like that, monkeys to us Americans. So we thought that was funny. Yeah, they ate nuts from this tree. We spent a good 10 minutes watching them. Went on another suspension bridge. I don't know. Suspension bridges are magical, so we took every opportunity to go across them. And there's the beautiful lookout of the gorge. Like I said, it's just hard to capture. The videos do not do it justice, but it is quite grand. Some of them are just so deep, you're looking up at 200-foot cliffs, and yeah. So this is the start of the Swallow Gorge, which is also the start of the Zulu Old Trail, which is the most famous trail, I think, but you need a permit. And yeah, that's the one I really wanted to do, but I think if I did it like a month in advance, I could have gotten it, but I didn't. Yeah, Swallow Grotto Trail also has a cafe, which was kind of cool. And yeah, it's easy to hike. It actually has a road, so you could drive through it if you wanted to. This is another suspension bridge. It's the biggest suspension bridge, I think, maybe one of the biggest ones that is made just for walking. Kind of cool lookouts from there. And yeah, that was kind of the last thing we did before we went back to pick up our PCR test and head to the airport. We left ourselves like 4 hours of buffer time, but unfortunately on our ride back, we hit major traffic. There was a big accident. The only road leading out of Hualien back to Taipei was closed or didn't move. Standstill traffic for 2 hours. And traffic just got worse from there. And then when we got to the airport, we were 28 minutes late, or 38 minutes before they would take off, and they wouldn't let us board. So we ended up having to get a last-minute hotel room and book another plane ride for the morning. So this is us in the morning, just wanting to get home, having a nice last meal in Taiwan, and then, getting to the airport. Oh, they have these weird locks in the bathroom to lock your luggage. I thought that was kind of a cool idea. So here's us finally getting ready to leave Taiwan one day later. a little boy taking a nap on the plane, and then finally getting to actually Narita Airport. We wanted to go to Haneda, but there was no flights to Haneda, so we had to go to Narita, catch a shuttle bus to Haneda to pick up our car again and go home. So yeah, it was a little bit hectic that last day, but that's our journey to Taiwan. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one. Godspeed.